Welcome back to Van Johnson Arena here on the campus of Marietta College. And Eric, just about ready to have our maiden voyage with 1455 Sports. First game covering Pioneer basketball. We had some coverage of football, in fact, all of the home games this season, but nice to get things rolling with hoops.
Absolutely, and if you want to see more of this kind of programming, just go online to 1455.com. The 14 is spelled out, then 55, the 55 at the end of that, and you can find ways to get involved and to reach out and be a sponsor of one of these programs as well. We'd certainly love to have you, and this is coverage that we'd certainly like to continue to provide more of as the season goes along.
Let's take a look at our starting lineups. First for Muskingum, they come in again with a record of 7-4, 2-2 in the OAC. They're led by head coach Travis Schwab, season number 5 at the helm, 44-70 record. He's made 2 OAC tournaments in 4 years, but starting to get things moving in the right direction up in New Concord. It'll be number 1, Marcus Dempsey, the junior guard, 6'1", from Zanesville. He's second in the NCAA in scoring at 30 points per game. Trey Singleton, he wears number 3, the sophomore guard, 5'11", from Senecaville, Meadowbrook High School. A real Southeast Ohio flair to this Muskingum team. 15 points, 4.5 boards per game for him. Mitch Clark, he wears number 10. He's a junior, 6'5", from Dalton, Ohio. 8 points, 5 rebounds per contest. MJ Smith, he wears number 11, the sophomore guard, 6 feet, from North Ridgeville, 5 points, 2 rebounds per game. Rounding things out will be number 42, Tyler Bardall. The junior forward is from Dover, stands 6'4", averaging 5.5 per game. Second in the OAC in three-point shooting percentage at 49%. For the Pioneers, they're of course led by head coach John Vanderwall, season number 13 for him, winning 70% of his games, 10-1 so far on the young season. Christian James will get the nod. He's a 5'9" junior point guard from Springboro. 8 points, 4.5 per game, shooting at 46% from 3. He's stepping into the starting lineup with the injury to Lucas Isley. This will be his second start of the season. Jason Ellis, he wears number 4, the junior wing from Marion. Second in the OAC in scoring, 22 points per game. Watching him as well as Dempsey from Muskingum, boy, they can really light up the scoreboard. Number 5, Tim Krieger, the junior post from Delphus, Ohio. Third on the team in scoring. Leading rebounder for the Pioneers, 4th in the OAC in field goal percentage at 53%. Mike Hall, he wears number 23, the senior post player from Belpre, 6 points, 4 rebounds per game. Third on the squad in assists with 19, too. And Caleb Hoying, the senior post player, 6'4" from Salina, 7.5 points per game. Second on the team in rebounding. He's shooting at 49% from the floor. Those are starting 5 for the Pioneers: James Ellis, Krieger, Hall, and Hoying. And Eric, as we continue the lights out intros here at Banjo, what do you see as some of the keys to the game for the Pios?
I don't see you because it's so dark in here. No, I'm kidding. It's a little bit brighter in here. There we go. The lights come back just in time.
Just in time. How about that? It's like they planned it.
Yeah. It's amazing. The clock hits 0. They put 20 minutes on the board, and the lights are in working order. I think this is going to be important for both of these shooters, Dempsey for Muskingum University and Ellis for Marietta, to get hot early. And this game, or at least the early phases of this game, may be decided by who gets hot the quickest and who can stay hot the longest. That'll be the thing to watch as we go toward halftime. And then who can continue to clean up the glass. Muskingum out-rebounded in their last game. Marietta 6th in the country in rebounding margin. So creating those second chance opportunities if those shooters aren't quite the marksmen that they hope they are early on.
Pretty big height differential, these two teams.
Yeah.
For the Pioneers, they're one of the tallest in the OAC, and frankly in all of Division III. Muskingum, really only one rotation player that's 6'5". All the rest are 6'4" or shorter.
And they're not really long either, so we'll see if they're able to disrupt passing lanes tonight.
Just about ready to tip things off as Tim Krieger in the circle going against Mitch Clark. And tip is won by the Pioneers. They will work on the hoop To our right, Pio's wearing the home whites with the navy blue numbers. Gray trim Muskingum in the road black uniforms, red numbers, white trim, and we see an early turnover for the Pios.
Miscommunication, Ellis looking for Hoying in the blocks, and tough to pass when you're in close proximity like that. At least he didn't try to whip it his way. You like Hoying being physical early, putting a body on a body, but at some point he's got to come around to the pass.
First Muskingum possession as we see Marcus Dempsey wearing number 1 out top. Second best scorer in all of D3, but lighting it up with the triple, M.J. Smith.
And if you had M.J. Smith as the first guy on this Muskingum team to score, you probably won some money, because the guy that you would have picked is Dempsey, but Smith with the big 3 hit 3 of those in their last game against Otterbein.
Krieger misfires. Hoying tries to get a paw on the rebound, goes down to the floor, and it's won by the Muskies.
Great hustle by Smith to get on the ground, do the dirty work.
Singleton raises, fires, and hits.
He's from just up the road, Meadowbrook High School. A big, important homecoming game for him, I'm sure.
Nice Southeast Ohio flair to both of these teams. It depends on where you draw the boundaries and what you call Southeast Ohio. We could debate that all evening probably, but both these teams have about 5 to 6 players from the southeast portion of the state if you draw it in some quadrants.
Sure, it certainly helps the gate receipts tonight.
Nice crowd as usual.
The game that the aunts and uncles and grandparents can get to easily.
Marietta last season was 3rd in all Division III in attendance. They're 6th so far this year, and this one will help those attendance stats. Dempsey out top being guarded by Hall, sends it over to Smith. 3-ball on the way, no. And board is snatched by Ellis.
Looks like Marietta wants to pick up the tempo a little bit here. We'll see if they're able to find some offense and some rhythm.
Krieger down low going against Clark. He will turn around, in and out. Rebound for the Muskies. No second chance opportunities for the Pios thus far.
That's where he's got to go straight up in the post and use that height differential, use that size for what it is.
3 from the left wing, no good for Tyler Bardall. He's second in the OAC, shooting it from deep, 49%. Caleb Hoying backing down low, off the back iron.
Slow start for Marietta from the field, and the rebound, he's not there either, but Muskingum hasn't gotten the ball into the hands of their best shooter until now.
Dempsey, hand in his face, misses that one. Christian James brings it across the timeline.
I was about to say, you're surprised we haven't seen Dempsey try to shoot the ball yet.
3-ball on the way for Caleb Hoying. Short, and Dempsey will push the pace. Doesn't have numbers, he'll wait for some friends. Now he'll drive and score it off the glass, just like that. 7-0, the score in favor of the Muskies, and we'll see head coach John Vanderwall take a TO. Commonwealth Financial Services, specializing in retirement planning and risk management. They treat your investments with the same care they give their own. They'll work with you to create a plan that is designed to target your unique financial goals. Call today for your no-obligation consultation, 304-422-3531. And Lang Financial success doesn't happen by chance, it happens by choice. A good financial blueprint will lay out what you need to do today to achieve your goals tomorrow. Let Lang Financial help you to ensure your financial future is all you want it to be. Call Casey Lang today, 304-422-5424.
There's Casey, just like that. We put him on the screen. Easy for all the people to see.
Very easy. We do appreciate all of the sponsors that are a part of Pioneer Basketball on 1455 Sports. If you want to be involved, feel free to reach out to the fine folks at 1455, and we would love to have you be a part of these broadcasts.
Remember, Muskingum, we were talking about this off the air, Muskingum started on a 12-0 run in their loss to Otterbein Saturday, but Otterbein came back and scored a 21-4 run on them, so it's not out of the realm for them to get off to a hot start and then give it right back and then some.
Dempsey, fadeaway shot, swishing it. Wow, that shows what Marcus Dempsey can do.
Off of one leg, too. The balance in midair. Great body control.
Caleb Hoying, low post right, unable to find the angle. And it'll be Muskie basketball.
Yeah, the touch from the post players is something that's still yet to come along tonight.
Tim Krieger, fourth in the OAC field goal percentage, 53%, but has not found the range so far this evening. Mike Hall thought about the three. Now it's Hoying down low, short, and an offensive rebound for Jason Ellis.
I think a good job by Hall to pass that shot up, still early in the shot clock, and he wasn't wide open either. There was a better shot to be had.
Virtually straight on three for Caleb Hoying, and he hits. Triple for Caleb Hoying, who shoots at 40% from downtown.
And that's a wide open three. I like the confidence in Hoying to take that shot when it presents itself.
9-5 Muskies, 15:24 remaining in this first half. Just inside the three-point arc, Dempsey raises, fires, can't hit.
Well, he's not been bashful since the first 3 minutes of this game of letting it fly, has he?
Number 2 in the NCAA in scoring, 30 points per game. We were talking pregame off the air about the Pioneers last season in the Elite Eight. Faced a young man by the name of Aston Francis from Wheaton. He was the Division III Player of the Year, put up 62 on the Pioneers. He averaged in the upper 30s coming into that game. Dempsey certainly in the mold of an Aston Francis as far as how he can really fill up the bucket.
MJ Smith there, more like an Aston Martin than an Aston Francis, knocks it down from the corner, and all of a sudden these Muskingum shooters are coming to life.
Three ball off the mark for Christian James, and the board is snared by Mitch Clark. Dempsey straight on, being guarded by Mike Hall, one of the Pio's best on-the-ball defenders. Nice snatch from Jason Ellis in transition. Christian James lays it up and in.
And that all started on the other end of the floor when Dempsey lost the handle on the ball as he was coming into the lane. And because of that, the pass did not get out of his hands the trajectory he would have liked. An easy steal in the lane for Marietta.
12-9 Muskingum, 14:08 left to go here in the first half of play. And as you digest what's happened so far, what do you see as some of the keys that's led to this three-point Muskie lead?
I feel like the shooting from Muskingum has been very good in this game. As we're seeing, they've shot 50% from the field. You have to like that. And it's interesting to see that Dempsey wasn't a guy that was going to catch and shoot from the get-go. He was going to let the game come to him and let himself get into the flow of things. But once he started shooting, he's not been able to stop. You might as well nickname him Pringles. Or once you pop, you just can't stop or lays. You can't stop it. You can't eat just one.
And with Dempsey,
he'll keep going and going and going with that.
He also has 55 assists on the season. That's third in the OAC. So he's not just about the shooting, he's about the distributing as well.
Well, just come out of the season of giving.
Exactly. That is Dempsey right in front of the Pio bench. He'll pass it off to Singleton, and he is blocked by Jake Montgomery, who just entered the contest, the junior post player from Westerville, transfer from St. Leo down in Florida. Jason Ellis, count it, and the foul with the trifecta.
Not a really good foul for Dempsey to take there because Dempsey was a long way from Ellis. Ellis was deep from three, and he had to close a lot of ground late, and he didn't really elevate in doing so either.
Deep three-pointer for Jason Ellis, and just shows the kind of range that he has, virtually unlimited.
And Dempsey got there late, so the shot was already launched and had been for a while. And it's a 4-point swing as a result of it.
Ellis sinks the free throw. He is tops in the OAC in free throw percentage, 90% from the line. Dempsey being guarded by Leidick. They'll now work it around the perimeter. Cut off on the drive is Tanner Gensler from Upper St. Clair outside of Pittsburgh. Just 7 on the timer. Dempsey's going to go one-on-one against Leidick. 3, swish.
Cold-blooded right there out of Marcus Dempsey. You can see why he's one of the country's leading scorers with that kind of touch and that kind of confidence. Sticks the contested 3.
You just knew as that shot clock was expiring, it was going to be Dempsey one-on-one against Leidick as the basketball heads over our direction.
Well, they're glad to see us too.
Penn Station East Coast Subs invites all Pioneer fans to make the short drive to Vienna and experience the quality of Penn Station. Their menu features an array of mouth-watering grilled submarine sandwiches, fresh cut fries, and hand squeezed lemonade. Visit Penn Station next time you're hungry. 605 Grand Central Avenue in Vienna. Tell you what, I read that, Eric, get a little hungry.
The fries are delicious at Penn Station. Those are the sandwiches.
I am a Penn Station fan myself, too. Solid defense from the Pioneers as there's just 10 left on the shot clock. Guess who? Dempsey going one-on-one. That three misfired. Rebound for Kyle Matoski. Other end, Leidick will take the three ball. Skips out. Board snatched by Gensler.
You can definitely tell the Marietta seems a lot more confident with their depth here. We've seen a lot more substitutions out of the timeout for Marietta there, and they're getting quality minutes from those guys inside especially.
Three from in front of the Pio student section is missed for Carson Carter. Put back bucket though, scored for the Muskies. Matoski trying to find the angle on the left side, and he hits it. Matoski operating against his number 33 counterpart, Carson Carter, both graduates of Johnstown High School, so formerly teammates, now adversaries on the floor.
It's a Marietta team that had 32 points in the paint against Wilmington in their last game and 20 second chance points, so they're used to getting the boards, and those guys in the post are a critical part of John Vanderwall's offense. Clean the glass, you convert those second chance opportunities.
We mentioned in the pregame, big time height differential between the Pioneers and the Muskies. Muskies have just one player, 6'5" or taller in the rotation, and Pioneers one of the tallest teams in all of Division III. Shot clock was expiring. Offensive rebound went down to Mason Leidick, and he scored the mid-ranger. I think that Muskingum really gave up on the play, thought it was a shot clock violation.
Yeah, that's just a great sense of awareness of listening for the buzzer, knowing when the shot went off and knowing when the officials aren't going to blow things dead. Leidick didn't finish on the play and did a nice job to stick the mid-range jumper. And he promptly picks up the foul.
To Leidick.
So as we praise him, we should also point that out as well. In the practice of being fair, I suppose.
We are objective broadcasters here. Inbounds, a dangerous pass, and it's going to be collected by no one. Out of bounds, will head the direction of the Muskies. Caleb Hoying, he was a football player in high school, closing fast, showing that speed like he was going after a fumble, but wasn't able to collect.
He didn't quite have the room either to dive for it on the baseline without going out of bounds, so he tried the only play he could get, a nice stealer by Hoying.
Hoying makes up for it. He's going to go coast to coast and hit.
And puts the Pios up a pair, so all of a sudden that early Meadowbrook lead's evaporated. They don't have any answers for these reinforcements that John Vanderwall's brought off his bench inside.
Dempsey guarded by Leidick, hand in the face, and it's no good. Rebound to Tim Krieger. We'll see Ryan Reedy handling the point duties right now for the Pios. He's spelling Christian James, who was the starter, and there's a triple for Carson Snyder.
Across the river in Parkersburg, Ohio, he knocks down the three. His sister, a pretty good basketball player in high school as well.
Carson Snyder, the junior, 6'1", as Eric mentioned, from Parkersburg, averaging 3.5 points. He's shooting now with that make, 8 of 18 from deep.
Credit Marietta for keeping the possession going here.
Count the basket and the foul, Tim Krieger, and that's where you see that height differential come into play, is Krieger with his length just able to turn around and score it.
Well, what I meant by that is Carson Snyder and Tim Krieger were tied up under the basket, and Snyder had to kind of arrange the two of them so they could get off each other without hurting one another. So it was 3-on-5 for Marietta at the beginning of that possession, but the Pios slowed things down, and they waited for everybody to get in place. Snyder got a touch, got it into Krieger, and then you see the chance at a three-point play coming up.
Krieger just 58% from the line so far this year. That one rattles in and out.
He's been a big part of this offense. He's been in double figures 4 of the last 5 games for John Vanderwaal's squad. So a balanced attack. They can score from the outside, and they can also get it down low to guys like Krieger. And Krieger's not been bashful about shooting tonight either.
Krieger had 19 points, 13 rebounds in Saturday's win at Wilmington. Under 10 on the timer, Singleton, desperation 3, air ball. And Christian James will rush it down the floor, identify a wide open Krieger, who scores it, and perhaps the easiest layup he's ever had.
And that was a defensive lapse, to say the least. That's about as easy of a defensive lapse to point out as you can imagine. Nobody got into the post, and nobody defended Krieger, and he gets an easy bucket there.
We had talked about how Muskingum somewhat feast or famine so far on the year. All of their losses have come by 15 or more points, and even within games, you had mentioned how they've had so many runs go the wrong direction this year. Seeing a little bit of that right now.
Well, like you said, they started against Otterbein on a 12-0 run. Otterbein came back on a 21-4 run. And the second half, they started on an 8-0 run. So they don't give up on games, but they definitely get streaky, and they need to get more consistent during the course of a game and throughout the game to get where they want to be in the OAC.
This Muskingum team, a record of 8-18 last year, 4-14 in the OAC, and some little things that made a big difference. They were -4 in scoring margin last year. So far on the season this year, they're +2. So a lot of close games last year that resulted in losses. This year they've been able to adjust some things and get some close wins.
You always like to pull out the close ones there, because those are the ones I think you kick yourself about when you don't pull them out more often than not. There's always a play or two that will stick out later when you go back and you think about those games. See, if I'd have done this, if we would have done that, if this would have gone our way.
It's a pretty young team for the Muskies. Only 3 seniors on this roster of 22 players, but just one is in the primary rotation of 10 guys that they typically roll through. So expect for them to be a factor for some years to come in this OAC race, as we see Carson Snyder try to take it all the way to the rack. He is fouled, and the ball gets stuck.
2 very scrappy players going at it there. Snyder, a quarterback in high school. He also had a successful basketball career. And I always really liked the outlook of Trace, or the makeup of Trey Singleton. I got to look at him in high school as well. He's always been that tough guard, good ball handler, good shooter. Can do a lot of things for an offense.
Snyder, back rim, misses the first free throw attempt, where on the year coming in, he was just 3 of 6. One more for Snyder, and he drains it. And you're right, Snyder, one of those just tough, gritty sort of players for the Pioneers. In the preseason, head coach John Vanderwaal had mentioned that this group of players for the Pioneers, one of the nicest groups he's ever coached. And he said he honestly wishes that early on they had a little bit more edge to him, and he alluded to Snyder being one of those guys that has that edge. You can kind of turn on a little bit of the nasty, make those toughness, grit, hustle sort of plays, and we've seen that so far tonight and really all year long from Carson Snyder.
We see some grit there and a nice job under the basket for Mike Hall to clean up. But you're right, that's a statement that people don't really know what to do with. You know, I've heard some people say, well, we need junkyard dogs on our team, you know, in different sports. You want to play the right way. You don't want to be branded as a dirty team, but you also have to have those guys that are willing to get in somebody's face when they need to do that.
And this Pioneer team last year lost some outstanding seniors, certainly, and Anthony Wallace, Kyle Dixon, Keith Richardson, and Mel Schuler. And this year early on, it was kind of a question of who's going to take on some of those leadership roles. And we've seen guys like Tim Krieger, who just scores it right there. Certainly Jason Ellis really step up. But Carson Snyder, while not exactly lighting up the stat sheet, has really taken that role as being a guy who comes in and provides those toughness and energy sort of plays.
Everybody needs that spark off the bench, and that's what he's been. But speaking of spark, it seems as though Mr. Dempsey has lost his for the time being.
Christian James on the dribble out top. He'll swing it to Caleb Hoying. 3 ball on the way. No. Back iron. Swooping in for the board is M.J. Smith.
There's a line change waiting to come on here for Muskingum.
In the corner, Singleton misses the three. And it'll be Christian James bringing it across the timeline. Poing left side, thought about posting up. Instead, it's Mike Hall. And that three will ricochet out of bounds. Ball goes to the Muskies, and here comes that line change.
See, who's the guy that stays on the floor? I believe MJ Smith is the only one of the starters that will stay on the floor from Muskingum. I like getting them a breather here. You maybe get them a minute or two toward the end of the quarter, if that, but let those guys have this break and then the half, and then you'll see them back in the second half strong.
Long three, misfired, but that means a very long rebound corralled by Carson Carter. And second chance points for the Muskies as he scores it off the glass. Now we see good defense for Muskingum as Carter is going to go all the way to the hoop and hit.
Discipline from Ellis there, too, to back up, realizing there wasn't a whole lot he was going to do to stop that play. Prevents himself from committing a silly foul. Those are plays that aren't going to win you any basketball games in the first half, but they might later on when you're still around.
Mini 4-0 run for the Muskies as we see Ellis take the three and hit it. Splash down for the junior from Marion.
And like you were saying, a 4-0 run for the Muskies, so that's a great time to stick a big three like that and slam the door shut.
We've seen that from Ellis so many times this season. Of course, earlier in the year, he put up 51 in that game against John Carroll. That was the last home game here at Van Johnson Arena. Pios have been on the road for 5 straight. That's a whole month as the calendar goes. An 11-point Pioneer lead as we approach 5 minutes to go until halftime. Montgomery's pass stolen away by Carson Carter. Muskie's not sure exactly what to do with it. They will bring it back out. Alex Massinelli now will drive against Christian James, and they will say it's a foul on the floor.
Certainly a case for a foul on the other possession, as the Muskingum player had an arm into the belly of Matoski. And he certainly thought it was a foul because of a push-off there. Sometimes you get that whistle, sometimes you don't. The officials haven't blown the whistle a lot tonight. Just 5 total team fouls at the 4:52 mark to go in the first half.
Pretty clean sheet in that regard, and that means a pretty quick first half. Seems like it's flown by as we are now under 5 minutes until these teams head to the locker room. MJ Smith now to Micah Keefe. Just 3 on the shot clock. Fade away with the 3. No good off to the right side. Leidick has the board and will bring it down the floor.
He tried to hit that from Penn Station. Not the Vienna one, the New York City one.
I'm still thinking about that sub. Might have to get one at halftime.
Obviously, I haven't stopped.
Jason Ellis will miss that lay-in attempt, and now Muskingum will push some pace, slow it down a bit.
Almost some steps there, the blocks for Massinelli.
3 attempt for Tanner Gensler, and he hits it. 6'4" freshman from Pittsburgh, averaging just 2 points a game. Coming into tonight, just 1 of 6 from 3. James splits 2 defenders. Open 3 right side, no for Leidick. Offensive rebound was ricocheted right into the hands of Jake Montgomery, and he scores.
A big number 42 there for Marietta Montgomery. Nice job to clean that up as, you know, speaking of numbers, Leidick has that number 2 on his chest, but he's not been afraid to take the 3 tonight.
Down low, Jake Montgomery will try to prevent the easy shot and pretty much just lands right on top of Tanner Gensler.
He saved a horse and he rode Gensler instead. And that's one that, if you're Gensler, you have to be wary about that. He's kind of grabbing at his back. Not easy to have a giant dude land on your back like that. That can be an easy way to get yourself hurt.
Montgomery will head to the bench after that foul, and Muskingum and Alex Massinelli will trigger the inbounds from underneath their own hoop. Singleton, left side against James, spins like a whirling dervish. Shot, no good, but second chance opportunity here. Dempsey now back into the game for the Muskies. Open three, right side, way too strong for Massanelli.
And there we talked about his assist numbers being a little surprisingly high for being someone who's such a prolific scorer. We'll get back to that in a second.
Count it, and the foul for Tim Krieger. Once again, that's that height difference we talked about. Krieger got it down low, and he had gotten so far underneath the basket that was virtually a certain make. Count it, and the foul.
Well, when someone is as prolific as Dempsey, a lot of times they get accused of not distributing the basketball. That's not true for a guy like Dempsey. He tries to facilitate and work that offense through him. He's not the only guy that takes shots.
Dempsey, the very talented junior from Zanesville Tri-Valley High School out of the MVL, very good high school basketball league in Southeast Ohio. Dempsey was OAC Freshman of the Year in 2017, first team All-OAC in 2018. Played just 6 games last year with an injury, but he is back and better than ever for the Muskies. Three from the elbow is missed for Davey Hipp. Hipp's only appeared in 2 games so far this year, and this is now game number 3. Tim Krieger scores that one. It's 41-26 in favor of the Pioneers. 2:18 left to go.
Good hustle play there.
This will be a run out, and Tim Krieger thought about dunking it. Instead, he's just going to lay it in.
Wincing in pain almost, like he tried to take off with that left leg, and it just wasn't there. He's going to stay out on the floor, but I'm not sure that he should if he's in this much pain. Still wincing here in the paint.
Dempsey is bumped, and they'll get this foul on Mason Leidick.
It looked like for Krieger it was the left leg or ankle, and we'll see if John Vanderwall decides to take him out. I don't think he's going to, as Leidick leaves and Hall comes on. So whatever it is, they'll let Krieger try to work through that.
Dempsey out high, being guarded by Mike Hall, trying to drive past Hall, can't do so. Pass a little wild. 3 ball, no good for Davey Hipp.
Not sure Hipp realized that there were still 10 seconds left on the shot clock with that look. He had some time to regroup and start things over again from Muskingum.
Through on the way for Carson Snyder, too strong. Nice tip from Tim Krieger. Pios get to reset. Give and go, now down low. Tim Krieger off the glass and down. Outstanding ball movement there for the Pios.
And it just seems like in the latter stages of this half, Muskingum's having trouble getting a body on Krieger. They don't match up size-wise or height-wise, but when you don't match up, you got to be more physical with somebody. And right now they're not banging him, they're not beating him around in the paint and making him work for it.
3 way off the mark for Singleton. We're now under a minute left until halftime. Mike Hall lines up the 3, looked good off his hands. Just a bit too much behind it. 45-26, Pios on top, make it 45-28 as we've got 44 seconds left.
And a good dish inside for Singleton. Muskingum's got to get him more involved as well.
Tim Krieger, turnaround mid-range shot, no.
He looks like he might be, or he was checking to see if he was bleeding from the nose. I think his face got the business end of either an arm or the floor.
About a 4-second differential, shot clock and game clock. Singleton with the 3, and he swishes it from right in front of the Pios student section.
Making me look good. I said they got to get him more involved.
Must have heard you. Just 7 seconds left. Christian James out top. Pios going to have to get this in gear. It's going to be a 3, fade away. Will not go. And at halftime, Marietta leads by 14, 45-31.
Survived a bit of a slow start in that one, but you have to like how they were willing to stick within themselves. They didn't panic. They didn't freak out when things didn't go their way early on. They fell in a hole, but they worked hard, dug themselves out of it. The bench proved to be quality. They got quality minutes out of that group.
Absolutely. We will step aside for about 7 to 8 minutes here at halftime. We'll come back, take you through the first half, our stats, and also talk about some scores from around the OAC, give you an update on Marietta women's basketball as well. This is Pioneer Basketball on 1455 Sports.
When you weigh your options of colleges, you'll soon notice that only one stands out: Marietta College. There are so many reasons why Marietta College is unique. From our commitment to offering a contemporary liberal arts education to every student, regardless of major, to our talented and civic-minded student body, to our beautiful campus set in the heart of the historic city of Marietta, Ohio. Marietta is truly the pioneer college. And we're not the only one who has noticed. U.S. News & World Report consistently ranks us as one of the top small colleges in the Midwest. The New York Times and Brookings Institution rank Marietta College 7th highest valued college in the nation. Princeton Review, Money Magazine, College Factual, and more recognize Marietta College for its quality and value. Our students benefit from a variety of learning experiences, both in and out of the classroom. Our talented faculty team up with students to conduct serious research, and they encourage students to pursue research opportunities as well. Our faculty and dedicated alumni help students obtain valuable internships that provide real-world experience in their respective professional fields. Marietta students also have their choice of rich and vibrant experiences outside of the classroom. With more than 80 clubs and organizations, our students can choose to anchor the campus TV newscast or enjoy Greek life in one of 7 fraternities or sororities. When it comes to varsity athletics, Marietta competes in one of the best Division III conferences in the nation, and we have our fair share of championships, including 6 national titles in baseball. Marietta's men's basketball team has been ranked as high as number 2 in the nation, and our fan base, known as Pio Nation, packs Van Johnson Arena for home games. One other area of the Marietta College experience that can't be overlooked is our relationship with the community. The McDonough Leadership Program plays a key role in providing thousands of volunteer hours at local food banks and area schools. The city itself was recently ranked as one of the top small towns in America to visit by Smithsonian Magazine. Students not only get a top-notch, highly respected education, but also live in a picturesque community with a vibrant downtown. Choosing the right college is tough. What makes Marietta College stand out? Our people, our programs, our city. Come to Marietta College. Become a pioneer.
Congratulations to our volleyball team on an outstanding season. They made it to the first round of the playoffs. They played the Stars Mill in the state tournament. They lost, but they played extremely well.
Hey everybody, Mitch from 1455 Media. Testing out my new Canon EOS C series, and I like it. The cool thing is, it's not only a camera test, but it's a video. And it's not only a video, it's on the socials, which makes it a social media video. And you're thinking, hey, how can I do that? And I'm saying, just give us a call, 304-488-4633. 1455 Media can help you do exactly what I'm doing, and probably better, because I'm, well, an idiot. So, log on to 1455media.com or call 304-488-4633, and we will help you sound and look much better than me.
Marietta College is the perfect place for someone who has multiple goals or really big dreams. I knew that I wanted to be in the PA program. I have been given opportunities that really help you grow and help you build your resume. I was fortunate enough to get in. They had 1,500 applicants this year and chose 36. All of the students here are so driven, and that really inspires me.
The first 3 weeks here, with the home being set up and the Pio store, or at least are familiar with everybody on campus, and everybody here smiles. You could walk down the mall and they're just happy to see you, and that's that small hometown feel that I really enjoy. I love the fact that I can just go with my professors after class and sit there and talk with them. And that's just something that I really find special about this school. And it's helped my academics substantially, having that connections. This is the place that I call home.
Have you heard what happened to those with curious minds? They packed up, broke free of conventions. These prospectors of knowledge are blazing a new trail, joining the long line of those who sought adventure and prepared for anything. This is the time. This is the place. Bring forth a pioneer.
Marietta College, it holds its students to such a high standard where it becomes the norm that you have to work hard. He actually signed me up for the hardest math competition for any undergraduates in the United States. I'm glad that he saw that in me. And this is the place that makes me feel like myself.
We'll have a kid.
Halftime score, Marietta 45, Muskingum 31. Let's take a moment to check some scores. First, the Marietta women. They are up at Muskingum tonight. Pios enter 4-7, 0-4 in the OAC. Muskingum, they're 2-8, also 0-4 in the OAC. But both teams looking for that first conference win. Right now, they are late in the second quarter. Muskingum up 30-29, so a close one for the Marietta women. We'll keep you updated on that one as we enter the later portions of our basketball game. Score check from around the OAC for men's basketball at half. John Carroll up on Otterbein, 35-27. Late first half, Heidelberg leads Ohio Northern, 30-21. The biggie tonight in the OAC, Mount Union traveling to Baldwin-Wallace. Both teams 3-1. Right now, Mount Union up 5, 40-35 at the half. And then Wilmington up 50-42 in a shootout over Capital. That score also at halftime. Back to the matter at hand. Marietta leads again 45-31. And as we take a look at the first half scoring for Muskingum, Dempsey with 7. Singleton also has 7. 6 for MJ Smith. After that, Gensler with 5, 4 for Carter, and then 2 for Keith. For the Pioneers, it's been all Tim Krieger. 17 points, 8 of 12 from the floor, and a pretty balanced effort after that. Ellis with 7. He's 2 of 2 from deep. 5 for Hoying, 4 for James, and then 2 apiece for Hall, Montgomery, Matoski, and Leidick. Overall, Pios 45% from the floor, just 4 of 15 from 3. And Muskingum 31% from the floor, and then 21% from beyond the arc. Eric, as you digest those stats, what really stands out to you as the difference makers in that first half?
Well, for Tim Krieger, that might have been about the quietest 17 points I've ever seen. It seemed like it took him a long time to get going, and there was definitely some frustration for him in the first few moments. By the way, Krieger beat 24 this half and not 5. Deciding for the wardrobe change. Maybe had some fluids on that. It's hard to tell. But either way, if you see Krieger in a different number, that's what that is all about. But again, holding Marcus Dempsey to 7 points. He went off for 35 against Otterbein Saturday from Muskingum. He averages 30 a game. To hold him to 7, that's not just him going cold from the field, because how many of his looks were contested looks? He didn't have a lot of wide open, clean looks, so Marietta willing to get a hand in a face and make him work for it. He comes into this game needing just 31 points to be the 3rd leading scorer in school history, and it's almost as if there was a concerted effort out of John Vanderwall's squad to say, not this night, not this place.
Exactly. And really credit the defense. Mike Hall was on him for a good portion of that first half. Also Mason Leidick applying some really good D, getting a hand in his face, forced a lot of fadeaways, shots on 1 foot. Not exactly high percentage looks for Dempsey.
And Marietta dominated the paint as well. That goes back to Krieger, 17 points. They outscored Muskingum in the paint 28-12. Marietta turned it over just 7 times that half. Good job for Marietta of controlling the offense and keeping the ball in their hands. And again, getting it down low to Krieger and letting him do his thing, rather.
Marietta was -5 in the turnover battle at Wilmington. Part of the reason why the Quakers were able to stay close. Pretty clean sheet tonight. Muskingum 5 turnovers, Marietta with just 4. And this is a Muskingum squad on the year that only averages 11 turnovers per game, one of the tops in the OAC, but they don't force a ton either.
That's what was interesting about their loss on Saturday. They lost by 15 despite just 7 turnovers. Usually turnovers are a big contributing factor in a lot of 15-point losses, but yeah, they do a nice job to hang on to the ball.
Caleb Hoying with the 3 ball, and he drains it. Trip, trip, triple for Caleb Hoying, and for him, that's now 8 points on the evening, 2 of 4 from beyond the arc.
I went to WVU in the Kevin Pittsnoggle era, so I've got a soft spot for bigs that aren't afraid to step out and stick it from beyond the arc. And Hoying's done that a couple times tonight.
Hoying, one of those players, when he steps onto the floor, you wouldn't guess, hey, that's a 3-point shooter.
No.
But on the year, 40% from downtown. Spinning around with the fadeaway is Mitch Clark. Not enough behind it. Pioneer basketball as James brings it into the front court. That's Hoying there, committing turnover number 5 for the Pioneers as it goes out of bounds.
We put the hex on him pretty bad, didn't we? What were we talking about? We were talking about turnovers, the lack thereof, and then Hoying handling the basketball.
The old broadcaster's jinx in full effect here courtside at Banjo.
We whipped up a nice little poultice.
Hoying will come over and say, hey, thanks, guys. That was real nice of you. Off-balance shot, no good for Singleton. Long rebound tipped out to the Pios. Down to Hoying as he tries to redeem himself, and he's fouled.
Not a true frustration foul for Carson Carter. Or no, they're going to call
looks like Bardhall, number 42 for the Muskies.
I thought I saw Carter coming from behind, but not a total frustration foul, but either way, a little earlier in the possession than you need to be that physical.
First foul for the Muskies, first for either team in this second half of play. Didn't see a whole lot of fouls in the first half, just 4 on the Muskies and 4 on the Pios. Jason Ellis into the paint, raises, fires, and hits.
Creating a nice look for himself and a clean look with that elevation, getting off the floor.
Pretty quiet first half by Jason Ellis standards. Had just 7 points. He averages 22.
And we came in thinking we were going to see a shootout at the OK Corral between Ellis and Marcus Dempsey, and really neither one of them lit it up from beyond the arc. We'll see if the second half isn't a different story.
This is Ellis out top. Now to the number 24 wearing Tim Krieger. Down low, Caleb Hoying had great post position, able to execute the hook. That's going to lead to a timeout for the Muskies. Hey, Marietta Media Transfer preserves your memories from film, audio, videotapes, and DVDs to a digital format that can live forever on your computer, the cloud, or shareable on any streaming platform. With their New Year's special of up to 50% off regular pricing, there is no better time to give them a call, 304-488-4633.
My brother and I were just talking about that yesterday, about Major League Baseball home video. We grew up with the Super Duper Baseball bloopers and a whole collection of those tapes, and Andrew said, do they make those anymore? He said, where can I get those? And I said, well, I don't think they make them on DVD or any format. So those old VHSs that have just a treasure trove of stuff.
That's true.
Marietta Media Transfer, hook you right up.
Becoming dinosaurs more and more by the day. We were talking
like the show dinosaurs.
Exactly.
Or the real dinosaurs. Yeah.
We were talking in the pregame how we were both Pittsburgh Pirate fans.
Yes.
And that reminds me how I have some recordings. They're still at my parents' house on VHS of select Pirate games from my childhood. One of those is the last game at Three Rivers Stadium.
I have that on VHS as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
But as you talked about VHS, it reminded me I have all those games. I don't have a VHS player. So if I wanted to go back and watch all those things.
Marietta Media Transfer has a VHS player.
I've got to go to Marietta Media Transfer.
There you
They're going to help me out.
Well, Muskingum's got to get Dempsey going somehow.
Dempsey right now 7 points, just 3 of 11 from the floor. And get this, 1 of 7 from 3. He averages 45% from the field and 48% from downtown. Do not see that too often where a guy averages better from three-point land than he does from the floor.
Well, one thing you notice is his body language hasn't changed. He's not shrugging his shoulders. He's not coming in with the defeatist look about him. He's just not able to convert here. You see Hall knock it loose there, but he's still going around with that same energy. His motor hasn't slowed a gear.
Right now working on his number one counterpart, Christian James. Ball movement for the Muskies, and the three is missed for Carson Carter.
I mean, that's what separates good players from great players. Great players can go through struggles and still stay in the game and not let that get them too down.
Krieger was held. Hall tried to feed him. And this is going to be called on Carson Carter. His first, second on the Muskies. Sub from Muskingum is number 2, Alex Massinelli will check in. The junior from Cambridge, another Southeast Ohio native on this Muskingum squad. Krieger with the long two, shorts, and rebound tipped by Jason Ellis. Heads up play from Ellis, and the Pioneers get to reset.
Kind of a role reversal there. Krieger the one that shoots, and Ellis tipping it out.
This will be Mike Hall, give and go with Krieger, and it's going to be an offensive foul.
John Vanderwall a little bit blown away there. That's a bit of a player control. Krieger coming off of a bit of a slip screen there to try to get to the basket. Yeah, it's the raising of the elbow that you just saw that I think is what drew that whistle.
Applied just enough elbow to warrant the call. And now Muskingum will work on the hoop to our right. 52-33, Pioneers with the lead as we're at almost exactly 16 minutes left in this contest. Open three, left side, and it's hit for MJ Smith, a very dangerous three-point shooter. He's 47% from downtown. Ellis now drives, put it on his hip, scored it off the glass. Jason Ellis going one-on-one, and for him, that is now 11 points on the evening. He averages 22, so at half of his average right now. That's Dempsey, and looks like we'll have a foul call.
Trying to get some separation, trying to create a lane for himself and a better look than what he's got. I think in some of his struggles, what's getting lost is that Muskingum's not able to find somebody else to see if there's anybody else that is going to get hot or can get hot. We've seen a bit of Trey Singleton at times. We just saw a little bit of, we've seen some MJ Smith, but not enough inconsistency because we're still seeing this team go through Dempsey struggles almost collectively.
And worth noting, that was personal foul number 3 for Christian James. So James heads to the bench. Ryan Reedy, the sophomore point guard from Cincinnati, checks in, and Marietta's going to need some quality minutes from Reedy. Count the basket and the foul. Marcus Dempsey, as he was hit by Jason Ellis.
It's the second time Ellis has fouled a three-point shooter in this game, and the second time that three-point shooter has connected on the shot.
And heading to the line now to add one more will be Dempsey.
I checked that they're only showing one foul on the scoreboard, so I must have confused Ellis with somebody else. But either way, second time tonight the Pios have fouled a three-point shooter.
Dempsey, a 79%er of at the line, too strong, and the board comes to Caleb Hoying. So Pios dodge a bullet. It's not a 4-point play, but regardless, a trifecta for Marcus Dempsey.
He's just hit 10 points with 15 minutes to go in this ball game. Guy who averages 30, that's good defense on him.
Ball fell into the hands of Tanner Gensler, who's back onto the court for the Muskies. Now we'll see Dempsey drive and score it. Marcus Dempsey might be heating up.
He sliced through the lane a little bit too easily for John Vanderwall's liking. We'll see if that isn't a message the next time he needs to talk to his players.
Tim Krieger loses the handle. Another turnover for the Pioneers, but it's going to go right back to Marietta. Leidick steals it, and Tim Krieger with the easy finish.
Great baseball pass there. I think too many times guys want to wind up and throw the one-handed pass, and you really have to pick your spots with it. You're slicing through, and you're looking to get the ball quickly somewhere. That was a great spot for that.
Dempsey, spot up three, no good. Nice rebound for Jason Ellis. It was heavily contested by a pair of Muskies. Ellis now is going to be fouled.
And you might want to look at that and you might say, well, the feet were set for Tanner Gibson, but watch where his position, he's in that cylinder.
Actually looks like he was just outside of the cylinder.
Well, based on where he fell, I thought he was inside the cylinder myself, but you're right, the replay seems to indicate that possibly should have been an offensive foul.
Might have fooled our officials as well. Pios will take the break, and Ellis drains the first free throw.
Get another look at this here. He's got his heels on the line. I don't know. A block charge is always a ticky-tack call and a bang-bang call, especially when you bring that cylinder into it.
Ellis hits his second, and here at the Division III level, generally instant replay as far as looking at those sort of close block charge calls or anything else you might have as far as possession, not in play. You see that in Division I games now where there's enough stoppages in basketball, it sometimes gets to be like a football game, but typically not a part of the D3 game. However, there are some Division III programs that have actually started using instant replay. Marietta not one of them, and to my knowledge, none in the OAC right now.
You go to the monitor like it's a made-to-order monitor or something like that.
That is Dempsey again, and boy, oh boy, turned into the Marcus Dempsey show here in the second half. Had to know he wasn't going to go away quietly.
Well, that's why those, as I said, that's what separates him from good to great.
Leidick's three miss. Rebound from Matoski and the easy lay-in.
But the fact that even though it wasn't going for him for a while, he's not given up on it. See, things have come back around for him a little bit.
Dempsey, three ball, in and out. Get the feeling that Dempsey's going to take a shot almost every time the Muskies have it right now.
It's a heat check right there, it seems like, because he felt it too.
Montgomery, they're going to say a jump ball.
It may be a bit of a quick whistle with that because it seemed like that was ripped away pretty cleanly by Montgomery after the initial tie-up, but I think sometimes you get that quick whistle because that's the better alternative than seeing this game get too physical and too out of control, because once it goes down a path, it's hard to retrieve the game and get the game back from getting out of hand.
Carson Carter swooped in to tie him up. Possession arrow keeps it with the Pioneers. Right now just 10 on the shot clock. This will be a long two. No, they're going to say it's a three for Mason Leidick. I thought he had a foot on the line, but they'll say it's a triple for Leidick.
He'll take the call.
This is Dempsey, drive and kick, three in the corner, and it's drained for Tanner Gensler. Gensler came in averaging just 2 points per contest. That is now 8 points on 3 of 3 from the floor.
And sometimes you got to look deeper on the bench to find the spark you need, and it seems like Gensler's provided that. Still a 19-point game, but maybe if you're Muskingum, finding something for down the road that you didn't know you had.
Will drive, and the ball goes out of bounds. Will stay with the Muskies. Singleton with 7 points off 3 of 10 from the floor. He averages 15. Dempsey being guarded by Reedy. Will send it outside. Making the extra pass are the Muskies, and that's Singleton in the corner.
A great pass from Dempsey, a better pass from Gensler. Lost his name for a second there.
It happens sometimes. Gensler only averages 9 minutes per game. Not one of the guys you may have expected that would play a big role in this contest, but so far doing just about everything for the Muskies.
I mean, looking at how unselfish those passes are. Dempsey knows he's the breadwinner for this team. Gensler knows he's hot. Both of those guys passed it up because Singleton had the better look. You'll like that if you're Travis Schwab.
Mark of a good basketball team, making the extra pass. And this Muskingum team, while we've said they've been up and down on the year, there's no question they've improved. They're 7-4, 2-2 in the OAC last year, 8-18 record, 4-14 mark in conference. And that is a triple for Ryan Reedy. And it's the first field goal of his collegiate career for Reedy. He had 2 points total last year. That was on 2 free throws at home against Baldwin Wallace. Had been scoreless coming into this contest. So congrats to Ryan Reedy on the first field goal of his collegiate career right there. Dempsey driving, and he's going to be fouled.
You said it too for Reedy, with Lucas Isley out with an injury, with Christian James on the bench with 3 fouls. As soon as Reedy came in, Marietta College is going to need to get some big minutes from him, and he's played a good defensive game, but at the same time, you like to see a little bit of production. And coming through right there with a big bucket.
Fouls assessed to Jake Montgomery, sends Dempsey to the line where he is deadly. Misses that one though, and rebound for Kyle Matoski. Ryan Reedy, a sophomore point guard from Cincinnati. He was pretty highly recruited as D3 athletes go. Coming out of high school, decided to come to Marietta and has seen pretty limited minutes in his time with the Pioneers. Obviously, a couple good point guards ahead of him in Isley and Christian James. As we see the big fella, Jake Montgomery, rattle home a 3. But back to Reedy, Pios are going to need him with Lucas Isley out for a couple games here and getting the job done with that 3. Turnover for the Muskies as Carson Snyder brings it down the floor. Now it goes down low to Montgomery, and he's fouled before that shot can be taken.
We're talking about this off the air. That's a hamstring for Isley, and that's a tough one to gauge when someone is ready to come back from that, or when you are ready to come back from that, because you can rehab it, you can ice it, you can think you're ready, and then the next thing you know, you tweak it and you had a setback and you just rewound the clock. You've almost flipped the hourglass essentially. That can be tough. So if they can use that quality of depth and get him as much time to heal as possible, that's probably for the best.
That was an air ball 3 there for Reedy, same spot he made his first collegiate field goal just a moment ago, and now Dempsey's going to be fouled.
On a 21-point game, you might as well let it rip. See how comfortable you are, see if you can maybe get something going. That's when you want to kind of find yourself, because again, if Marietta knows that they can play with what they've got at the point guard spot, they can afford maybe sitting Isley another game or 2.
See the instant replay there, and Mike Hall hit with the personal foul, sending Dempsey to the line.
And these are the kind of games you can tell Dempsey helping to pad that average. He's got 16 after that make. Largely held in check in the first half when this game was a bit closer and a bit more snug. We'll see what his final total is and how that plays with the margin of, or the difference in the game. And he might still get his, but at the same time, you still might see the Pios win by 15, 20 points.
Precisely. Right now, Marietta in the lead, 71-52, 9:25 remaining in this second half. Mike Hall, shot fake, got a man up, and hits the trifecta.
Beautiful use of the shot fake right there. Some of the old school coaches, some of the old school players you'll hear from the 70s and 80s, they'll have coaches that like them with a shot fake every time, and I kind of prefer the catch and shoot myself, but every once in a while that old school shot fake or the head fake is nice to get a guy in a position, create a better look for yourself.
Mike Hall has one of those shot fakes that more often than not is pretty effective in getting his man to bite, and showed it off right there. Hall, the 6'6 senior, one of only 2 seniors on this Pioneer squad, him and Caleb Hoyne. Pios break the press, and Christian James will hold it out top. Work it around the perimeter to Ellis. Drive and kick, it's stolen away though. Dempsey showing that not only can he shoot, he's got the handles as well, and he's heading back to the free throw line.
I was waiting for sweet Georgia Brown to start playing or something like that. He's fancy footwork there at midcourt.
Little Globetrotter-esque.
He got stripped on the way up, and he was about to launch, and the launch sequence delayed when the ball got knocked loose.
Dempsey makes his first, now 4 of 6 from the charity stripe tonight. This one to cut it to a 20-point advantage for the Pioneers. He cannot. Dempsey, a 79% free throw shooter. Tonight, just 4 of 7, though. Mike Hall, mid-range jumper, swish. Back-to-back buckets for Mike Hall, and with that, Hall now has 5.
That can be such a lethal weapon if you're willing to use it, that mid-range baseline jumper. I love a guy that's got the confidence to step back from the baseline. If you're confident from there, why not? Tough to defend.
Ellis stripped on the way up. It's going to stay with the Pioneers. 24 still on the timer. We've been talking earlier about the height differential between these two teams really showing up right now in the rebounding battle. Marietta with 40 boards, 24 for the Muskies. That's a plus 16. James's 3 rims out. And Trey Singleton takes it across half court, being guarded by Hall.
Good work for Smith there to get a hand in his face, too, and not let him have that. You have to like Muskingum's effort. They're not letting in. They've not let up in this game.
NBA range 3 miss for MJ Smith. Pios hurry it down the floor, maybe a little too fast. Ball goes out of bounds. James couldn't handle it.
I think how Muskingum plays the final 7:31 of this contest is going to tell you a lot about the makeup of this team from a medal standpoint. I mean, it's tough. You're down 23 in this point. Unless you go on a big run here, one that you've only done a couple times this season, you're probably not going to win tonight. But how you finish is going to say a lot as far as how they go into this Saturday's game.
3-ball rims out for Singleton. Pio is able to save it in. This Muskingum team, we said, feast or famine. Every loss has come by 15 or more points so far on this year, but they've had some good wins. Out of conference, defeated Kenyon, Adrian, Waynesburg, Ramapo. That was an NCAA tournament team last year. And Wisconsin River Falls out of the always tough WIAC. And in OAC play, they already have a W against John Carroll.
Anytime you get in a league situation, and I feel like they say that about every league. There's not a night off in this league. What's true about the OAC? It really is.
OAC right now, if you look at some of the metrics out there, there's the Massey ratings, one of the better ones in all of Division III. OAC currently rated as the 5th best conference in all of Division III basketball. That's out of 40 or so conferences. So pretty tough top to bottom, and you're right, no nights off. It's cliche to say it, but yeah. OAC, really good conference, a lot of good basketball players, and some outstanding coaches too.
That was either going to be a travel on Ellis for running the baseline, or that was going to be a foul on Musselman. And they get Bartle on the grab.
It's going to bring us to a timeout. Not sure, it's timeout Muskies as we see the official gesture over to Travis Schwab and his team's bench. 1455 Sports is proud to partner with Marietta College Athletics. Tune in again next Wednesday. That's January the 15th at 7 o'clock as the Marietta women's basketball team hosts Capital. You can watch live or on demand anytime, anywhere. That's 1455 Sports. And Eric, tonight the first 1455 Sports broadcast that we have had of this season for the Pioneers on the basketball side. We had some outstanding football broadcasts. I am typically on the broadcasts on pioneers.marietta.edu, but stepping up our production value tonight, and it's going to be fun to have these broadcasts the rest of the way. We're going to have 4 men's games and 4 women's games, and then any OAC tournament games that either the men or women have.
If you're a business and you want to get involved with this, hey, get in touch with the folks at 1455. They can make it happen and maybe see more of these games. Maybe it'll be up to a dozen next year, or 15 or 20. I can sound like LeBron and Chris Bosh. Not 1, not 2, not 3.
Little flashback to the decision right there.
Nice decision from Dempsey to take that one to the rack. He's a guy that's been beaten down a few times tonight, not afraid to get back up. That is Zanesville. Does that qualify as a Midwesterner? Is he a rugged Midwesterner?
I would say Zanesville definitely qualifies in my book as a rugged Midwestern kind of town. Hey, so does Salina. That's where Caleb Hoying is from, and he hits the trifecta on the right side.
I'm not as versed in Ohio as I need to be. Where is Salina?
Salina's up in the northwest corner, kind of near St. Mary's, Bell Fountain, that direction. Maybe an hour and 20 minutes or so from Toledo.
I've not messed around in the Toledo area. One of the few parts of Ohio I've not messed around in a whole lot.
Got to get you up there to northwest Ohio. Here's Hoying again, and he hits it. Triple. Hoying telling Eric, hey, you got to visit Salina. Got some good basketball players up there.
He hit that from Salina.
Exactly.
Did I do it right?
You did. You did. Marcus Dempsey counted in the foul. He's saying, no. You guys are talking about Salina too much. Let's talk about the Y-City. Let's talk about Zanesville.
Let's go back to the rugged Midwestern town of Zanesville. Another look at that trifecta there as Hoying steps back and look at that stride. He knows.
Hoying's a shooter, and he knows it. Coming in, he was 40% from three. Tonight, he's 4 of 6. So that average is going to go up.
I love when confident shooters, you can tell in their body language they're confident. Just in the little, you're not talking about big fist bumps or big, shows of emotion, just little things like that. He's already backpedaling. He knows it's in.
Hoying, one of those guys I've learned from all the games I've broadcast with the Pios. When he does that little step back, you know it's good. That one in and out. Didn't have as much of a step back for Hoying there.
It's his Tiger Woods club twirl.
And it's going to be a foul on the Pioneers.
He had one of the greatest moments of that in the President's Cup this year in golf when Tiger hits the putt to win his last match and the ball's halfway to the cup. He's already got his hat off ready to shake the guy's hand.
Yeah, that was outstanding.
Gamesmanship. And there's still the confidence of the stride, but look how much this team is still fighting for the loose ball. Krieger makes that a loose ball thing. Of course, he picks up the foul, but still looking for rebounds and still fighting for loose balls, with 4:26 to go in a 20-point game, or just about a 20-point game.
Yeah, if you're head coach Travis Schwab, you got to be proud of how your team is fighting down the stretch here, especially when you've had some blowout losses this season. We said all 4 of their losses by 15 or more points, but Muskie's not going down easy in this rivalry contest. Tim Krieger working the low post on the left side. And for Krieger, that's now 21 points. 17 of those in the first half, though.
Great body control for Krieger, too, to leave that left foot glued to the floor.
Dempsey, hand in his face from Leidick, misfires, board for Hoying. Jason Ellis had an open 3, passed it up, decides to take the easy layup from the left side. That's going to lead us to a Muskingum timeout. Tonight's live stream is produced by 1455 Media. 1455 is a full-service multimedia firm, bring big city production and small-town customer service to the Mid-Ohio Valley. Video works, and when it's produced by 1455 Media, it works even better. Go to 1455media.com to learn more. That's the word 14, the number is 55, media.com. Also, Commonwealth Financial Services, specializing in retirement planning and risk management. They treat your investments with the same care they give their own. They'll work with you to create a plan that is designed to target your unique financial goals. Call today for a no-obligation consultation, 304-422-3531. That's Commonwealth Financial Services. And Eric, certainly want to thank all of the sponsors that have been a part of this broadcast, our first basketball broadcast for 1455 Sports. And like you said just a moment ago, we'd love to have more. If you want to be a part of this, certainly reach out to 1455 Media Sports, and we'd love to bring you aboard.
Tell you about how Commonwealth handles your finances the same way those cheerleaders handle the cheerleaders that go up in the air, the flyers as they call them. You're reading that, I'm thinking, please don't drop anyone, please don't drop anyone.
Marietta College, an outstanding cheerleading program, great dance team as well. School back in session tomorrow for Marietta, and we've got a pretty packed student section. Props to Pio Nation and the Marietta students for filling this barn tonight.
One of the hottest place to be on campus in the winter months is the banjo.
3:40 left to go, 86-64. Pio's on top, but Muskies fighting hard down the stretch. Near turnover, Alex Massinelli collects it, and he's going to be fouled by Christian James.
Tough night for James, picking up some fouls that he didn't think were in his favor. He doesn't get his feet set at all here. And he gets kind of caught in an awkward spot, but I can see his frustration there. Doesn't make a lot of contact with Massinelli. That's probably a better no call, which is ironic that it does get called because we've seen the whistle largely kept away tonight.
In total, 14 personals for Marietta, 10 for Muskingum, and that's all game. That's a...
Yeah, we're only now seeing Marietta into the double bonus, and neither team made it even to the bonus in the first half.
James now has 4 personal fouls, but he's really the only player either side in any semblance of foul trouble. Krieger, nice post pass to Caleb Hoying. And they're going to get a foul on Tanner Gensler. As I said, no one's in foul trouble. Gensler picks up his third, but yeah, with 3 minutes left to go, I don't know if I'd call that foul trouble, but perhaps inching in that direction. Hoying to the free throw line, hits the first, and that's now 17 points for Caleb Hoying.
We'll see that foul once again. That's a good clean tackle. Gensler had him wrapped up.
Hoying, he was a football player.
No helmet to helmet.
Hoying was actually a quarterback in high school. That shot, not the prettiest one, but finds the geometry off the glass. Pios break the press, and they're looking to slow things down a bit as they've got a 21-point advantage. We're under 3 minutes left to go. Wide open, Jason Ellis, and he hits the trifecta.
You're talking about how Hoying was a quarterback. We talked about how, who else did we say was a quarter? Oh, Carson Snyder. Lucas Isley was a quarterback in high school. There's a leadership vein that runs through that position, it seems like, and it carries over into all other sports.
A lot of QBs on this Pioneer team as we see Tanner Gensler drain the three. And for Gensler, after that make, 12 points, 4 of 4 from the floor, and he averaged 2 points coming in just 9 minutes. Heck of a night for Tanner Gensler.
That's all in the second half, too, as I think maybe Travis Schwab has found something on the end of his bench, the freshman out of Pittsburgh, Upper St. Clair. So we'll see if that isn't something that he doesn't lean on a little bit more down the stretch.
Gensler probably earning some more playing time here tonight.
Might be seeing the end of the night for some of these guys as well. Ellis Leidick leaving the game.
And checking in for the first time tonight for the Pioneers, the freshman, number 13, Jalen Greiser. He's looked really good out of the gate. Has played in 7 games, averaging 5 minutes, 4 points, rebound and a half. He's made the most of his limited time on the court.
Hoying and Krieger will leave as well now.
Yep, we'll see Salmi Willoughby and Brennan Crawford, 2 of the Pio freshmen, check in. They'll get some run in the last 2 minutes, 20 seconds.
A job well done for these Pio starters this evening. They found some depth on the bench as well. Ryan Reedy, a nice night to complement what James did from the point guard spot as well. The bigs really helped spark this team in the first half when they were struggling to get going after Muskingum got off to a hot start.
Getting into the paint is Luis Suarez. Misses that shot. Suarez, a freshman from Lorain, Ohio. He's only appeared in 1 game so far this year, had 9 minutes in their contest against Waynesburg.
Marietta now about to win their 19th straight against Muskingum. They're 21st of the last 22. We were talking about this before the game. The last time Muskingum won anywhere in this series was in February of 2010.
Salmi Willoughby there. Mid-range jumper. Willoughby, good-looking freshman from out of Reynoldsburg High School. League that produces a lot of good basketball players.
I bet if you told a lot of folks on the Muskingum side of things back in 2010, It'll be another decade plus before you beat Marietta. They would not believe that.
And this is certainly a rivalry game. Two schools separated by just 56 miles, but when it gets that one-sided, the rivalry can lose a little bit of the sizzle.
Some sizzle there from Suarez with a behind-the-back dish to Begway. At a new Philly. Again, another place that's just up the road.
Freshman to freshman connection for Muskingum. So we've got 1:05 left to go. Ryan Reedy will drive, fading away. Back iron, no good. And rebound for Brandon Zukowski, another freshman for the Muskies. Ball goes out of bounds, bounds, and will head the way of the Pioneers.
There's that behind the back dish one more time. No look, and he just keeps going.
It's always fun to see when you get the freshmen out on the floor at the end of these games because they're still playing as if it was a tie ball game, trying to earn playing time and
as well they should
solidify their position, maybe try to work their way into the rotation, and that's what you're seeing right now, really both sides.
A lot of times this time of the game gets branded as garbage time, but you like guys that are using this time to try to improve their spot on that bench, improve their standing in that rotation. That's why coaches recruit guys like that.
Turnover for the Muskies, and we've got just 18 seconds left. We'll see if the Pios elect to dribble it out. They will do so as this crowd here inside Van Johnson Arena comes to their feet. Ryan Reedy dribbling it out. And with the victory, the Pioneers will move to 11-1, 5-0 in the OAC, and 5-0 at home is our final score. Marietta 95, Muskingum 73. The Muskies, they fall to 7-5, 2-3 in the OAC. So Eric, big win for the Pioneers. They stay in the driver's seat of the OAC, undefeated at 5-0. And coming up next, a tilt with Heidelberg on Saturday.
And you like the way this one went down. They were able to limit the minutes and spread the load from everybody here. Look at the top five for this Marietta team. They only played 27 minutes in this game. So they're going to come into Saturday very well rested. A lot of guys got some confidence tonight off of the bench that maybe they didn't have before. A good game from Krieger. You like how he was able to bounce back from a bit of a slow start. Good efforts from Hoying and Ellis as well. Hoying really came on to the second half for Marietta, but also showed his confidence as a three-point shooter also. You have to like the defense too. Surviving 14 turnovers tonight, but still managing to just dominate the Muskingum this ball club in the paint as well. Almost doubling up on them in the paint, 42-24 the points in the paint battle tonight. They limited second chance points from Muskingum. They like we said, or actually they forced 14 turnovers. I think I read that wrong a moment ago. Marietta controlled the ball with just 9 turnovers themselves, forcing mistakes and then capitalizing off those mistakes. That's what winning basketball teams do.
Sure, we talked about the height differential of these two teams, and it really showed up in those stats you mentioned, certainly in the Pioneer scoring. Krieger with 21, Hoying at 18, throw Ellis in there with 20. And rebound margin, Marietta 48 boards, just 33 for Muskingum. Quite frankly, a lot of it came down to just the sheer size of the Pioneers, and Muskingum just didn't have an answer for the Pio Bigs.
No, and Marietta shot 62% from the field of the second half tonight. That is fantastic for that long of a stretch of basketball. So Muskingum didn't have an answer for a whole lot in the second half of this game, though the effort was certainly there a lot of times this evening. Credit John Vanderwaal's squad for pulling away late and keeping the points on the board, because we definitely saw it's not like Muskingum packed it in tonight. This is a Muskingum team that's going to pick up some wins in conference play, and if they keep working at it, they figured some things out tonight as well. Maybe even found something they didn't realize they had in Tanner Gensler. So as conference play winds on, they'll be a force to be reckoned with, and it wouldn't surprise me to see them beat somebody that maybe a lot of people wouldn't expect them to defeat.
Absolutely. They've already picked up a big win against John Carroll, and I feel like that win served notice to the top teams in the OAC that Muskingum's going to fight, and we saw that fight down the stretch here tonight. For the Muskies, Dempsey ended up with 28, so just 2 shy of his average of 30, Gensler of 12, and then Singleton with 10. But you see some positives out of this Muskingum team, and certainly, as I said, served notice to the rest of the OAC earlier this year with some of those victories, and they're going to be a force to be reckoned with down the stretch.
Yeah, and it's going to be a tough battle in the conference. I think Marietta did what they needed to do tonight, but at the same time, Muskingum proved that they're no one to be overlooked, they're no one to tread lightly on.
Absolutely. Well, hey, Eric, great working with you. Our first contest here tonight for 1455 Sports. Thought it went well, and appreciate you along for the maiden voyage here tonight.
Well, glad to be with you. And, of course, if you want to be with us as well on the 1455 end of things, still looking for sponsors, we'd love to have you. Reach out to 1455. Go Google 1455. Spell it out. The website, 1455.com. Find out more about this company and help us get involved in bringing more Marietta College athletics to the fine folks in Pio Nation.
Marietta moves to 11-1, 5-0 in the OAC. Next game for them will be here at Van Johnson Arena as they will take on Heidelberg. Our next broadcast is going to be on Wednesday, January 15th. Lady Pioneers will face Capital at 7 o'clock. Watch live or on demand anytime, anywhere. Final score, Marietta 95, Muskingum 73. For Eric Little, this is Drake Bolin wishing you good night from Marietta.